Hi, boys and girls. So today I wanted to talk about how we can elaborate our sentences by focusing on adding things like an adjective, when, where, how, and why things are occurring. So let's take a look at the sentence, we stood outside for 20 minutes. I'm going to start by adding an adjective outside into my sentence. And I think what I'm going to add in is the word miserable. We stood outside for 20 miserable minutes. That adds a description so the reader knows that it wasn't 20 minutes that were fun, but it was 20 minutes that were tough and that we needed to stand there through that. Standing through something miserable is not fun. So I'm going to take the sentence, we stood outside for 20 miserable minutes, and I'm going to think, does the reader know when I was standing outside? So I'm going to add in that we were standing outside this morning. So this morning, we stood outside for 20 miserable minutes. Now my reader knows when I was standing outside and what it was like standing outside. So now I want to think to myself, does my reader know where I was standing outside? So I'm going to say this morning we stood outside, and let's say we stood outside of the school. So I'm going to add in this morning we stood outside of the school. Whoops, let me just fix that. We stood outside of the school for 20 miserable minutes. So I'm going to copy paste this. Now I have to think to myself, how? How did we stand outside the school? So this morning, we stood shivering outside of the school. Now that lets my reader know even more about why it was miserable. Shivering outside of the school for 20 miserable minutes. Well, boys and girls, one thing my reader doesn't know yet is why. Why was I standing outside the school shivering for 20 miserable minutes? So I think I'm going to add in that we had a fire drill. So let's see. This morning, we stood shivering outside of the school for 20 miserable minutes while the fire chief investigated the cause of the fire alarm. Do you see how we took a simple sentence in the beginning? We stood outside for 20 minutes. And by asking ourselves, can we add in an adjective in front of the noun? Can we add when, where we were standing, how we were standing, and why we were there? We've taken a simple sentence and made it much more complex. This morning, we stood shivering outside of the school for 20 miserable minutes while the fire chief investigated the cause of the fire alarm. Boys and girls, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it helps.